I have a question for you. What do Brad Pitt, Cameron Diaz, and Evan Rachel Wood have in common? Well, they've all had Beth Minardi as a stylist. But there's a lot more to Beth Minardi than just that. She works with companies like Redken, Clairol, and Joico, developing products and educating colorists. Beth also serves as an editorial consultant to Modern Salon magazine and Behind the Chair. And if that's not enough, she also runs the famous Minardi Salon in New York City. She was honored in 2010 for Lifetime Achievement at the North American Stylist Award. And if you ask anybody in the industry, they'll tell you that Beth Minardi is by far the top colorist and the top color educator anywhere. I can't believe I'm sitting here talking to Beth Minardi. This is somebody I've always wanted to sit and talk to. Beth, I cannot begin to tell you how grateful I am that you took time out of your busy schedule here in New York City to come over and talk to us and spend a little time with our students and our staff at Empire.
Oh, well, Frank, it's my great pleasure. It's just an honor to be here, and I look forward to this little wonderful chat we're having.
When did you decide in your life that you wanted to become a cosmetologist?
I was passionate about going through beauty and fashion magazines to see the way the eyes were done, the way the makeup was done, the way the hair was done. And I thought, my goodness, look at the difference that great hair and great style can make in any person's life. And particularly at the time, a young teenage girl wanting to put her best face forward. My mother enrolled me in what they called at the time modeling school or charm school, and they would talk to us about the way to sit and the way to go to a restaurant and the way to groom ourselves.
Did you have to wear the little
books on the head?
Book on the head, and you had to walk
with the
heels?
Book, yes, walk with the book on, and then learn to walk a runway and learn how to do a pivot turn. Oh, and how to hold a handbag, all that stuff.
I always wondered, what does that have to do with cosmetology? I don't get that.
No, but I'll tell you, it kind of does, because it teaches you how to walk in a beauty salon and how to behave when your back hurts and how to smile when it's tough. So all those little things come in handy.
Good point.
They can come in handy.
But you didn't decide to do that until you actually are a graduate. A lot of people don't know that about you. I mean, you had gone to college.
Yes, my degree is in theater and education. I graduated from the University of Central Florida at the time when, things for women on the front of women's rights, the women's movement was going, and I was trained to be a teacher. And I should have been a teacher in elementary school or in a private school who taught theater. I loved it. But because part of my major was theater, I met a movie director and auditioned and got a part in a film. And when I was working in the film—
I don't think many people know that about you.
Yeah,
cool.
I played a beaten-up redneck gas station attendant.
Come on.
Yeah, I had on little short shorts and a top that was all grimy, and my hair was all messed up. And what was fascinating was going into the makeup and hair trailer was a real experience for me, because here I saw wigs and hair and makeup and beauty, and I saw a beautiful actress, Dina Merrill, transformed every night into this glorious woman. And I said, the power of beautiful hair and makeup and cosmetic and the power of that hair person on that set really appealed to me.
All right.
So I thought about it a lot, and I was teaching school at the time and going for my master's degree part-time at night. And
elementary school?
Yes, to get my master's degree in education.
Right.
And I made a decision. I started looking at beauty schools.
I didn't know. Did you continue teaching while you went to school, or did you literally quit teaching and go to beauty school?
No, I stayed teaching and went to beauty school, and then I segued into another daytime job and finished beauty school.
Because you had to pay for it yourself.
Yes, I did.
That's
I
pretty
paid for it
impressive.
myself. But my school, yes, they were wonderful with me, but I paid for it myself, and I knew to get there every single day. And what I say to people who work in our industry, just like going to beauty school, there are days that you don't feel well. But those clients expect you to be there.
They sure
so
do.
Beauty school and going every day trains you to be good in the salon world.
Did you ever have moments where you thought, is this worth it? Is this something that I really want to do that bad?
Oh, I had many moments when, I remember running out in the parking lot and crying a little bit, and crying a lot. But
Wow.
I've realized, and you speak to so many people, everyone has little bumps and maybe very big bumps in the road. It's what you do with the bump. No one goes through on a smooth ride. Everybody has challenges, and it's how we handle the challenges that sets apart the winner from the person who's not so fortunate.
Did you have any mentors?
But you know, I think the thing about mentors is, and I have had some wonderful mentors, you have to be your own mentor, because when you get in that bed at night and you put your head on the pillow, you've got to talk to yourself pretty straight sometimes.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
And you know all the downsides of you, okay?
You sure do.
But you also got to be there to pick yourself up.
Right.
That is really cool. And you have had some great mentors, and you told me about them. And I think these are people that would inspire anybody, I believe.
Mm-hmm. When I started my career at Clairol years and years ago, and at the very beginning, Bob Oppenheim, who was the president of the salon division, was an amazing mentor and a tough boss. And if color
One of the
wasn't
true legends in our business.
Truly a legend, and said you can never do enough for the American hairdresser. Don't ever forget it. And if you think you're a great colorist, look again, because you can always get better.
And there's always somebody out there that wants to take you off that top ledge,
There
right?
always is.
And
That's the hard part. There always is.
It's the hard part, but it's also the part that makes you better. Isn't it, really?
Yes, and I think the thing about our wonderful industry is you can never stop learning, you can never stop growing, you can never stop learning to inform yourself of the next thing that's coming, or maybe create the next thing that's coming. People who sit back and keep doing the same old thing over and over again tend to get bored.
What was your first job out of cosmetology school?
My first job out of cosmetology school was working as a Clairol hair color consultant.
Wow.
I could speak some Spanish, so when they learned that, they moved me to Miami, Florida. I was just a kid, and I lived there by myself. I was terrified. I was away from all of my family, and I lived in an area where it was mostly people who didn't really have to work for a living, kids who were extremely entitled, and I had to speak Spanish more than I thought I would at the time. And it was at the time when hair color was under question for safety. So there were all sorts of things.
Red dye number 2 and all that stuff.
Yeah, 2,4-diaminoanisole, red dye number 2, 4-MMPD, all that stuff. And really learning to talk people through this and educate them and be very clear. So it was very funny. My degree in education came in very, very handy at that job.
I'll bet it did. I'll bet it did. And actually, you've been educating ever since.
I've been educating ever since, and I love it.
If you had a job opening and you're looking for somebody, what would intrigue you about hiring that person?
There are so many things. First of all, before intrigue, even accept. And that would be a person who comes in looking the part, acting the part, groomed, coming in alone, coming in with a resume that's not with covers and 15 pages, but a sheet or two explaining who they are, and really understanding that at our salon, people start as an assistant, and they're going to grow, and they're going to learn our system, and they're going to learn the way to work, and it's so much more than only doing the hair. It's the way we greet a person, it's the way she's seated, it's the way we place the towel on her, it's the way she's spoken to, the consultations, the pre-service interview, everything that surrounds it, even correctly bringing the lady tea or coffee, getting the gentleman a glass of water, whatever he wants to have, and then doing a wonderful shampoo and a wonderful treatment, and making the person feel like they're a guest in our home. And you know, you think you don't have to teach people that, but you do. And their willingness to take and treat people beautifully and know that the person, it's not a service business, it's an experience business.
I like
It's
that.
no longer just a service, it's an experience. So we offer an experience. We don't want them to just say, wow, my color was great or my cut was terrific, but I had a wonderful time while I was there. Then comes the technical part. And the technical part, I say to train an amazing colorist, a killer, someone who can do anything, any correction, any creative or super service on hair, no matter what it starts out as. To train them to be fabulous is working in my salon 3 years.
Wow.
3 years. Some people do it in a year and a half. Some people do it in 4. Some people are never going to do it because they say to me, they don't want to work this hard. They have to know this is hard work. To be a great hair cutter, to be a great stylist, is an amazing, amazing skill. It's sculpting fiber.
It is.
You must really be passionate about always wanting to learn. You must not have problems with substance abuse. If you want to party, that's your business, but you better be there 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, not late, not leaving early. We all have situations where we have an emergency at home. People who have emergencies at home every week can't work in a New York City salon or in a busy beauty salon anywhere. You're needed. We don't hire extra people.
And you have to be ready on that first client as good as the one at 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, and client number 11 has to be treated just as nicely as client number 1.
Not easy
Absolutely.
sometimes.
And the charm tank better be full.
We tell people all the time, do you subscribe to the theory that 80% of your success comes from your people skills and the ability to communicate, make people feel good in the experience, and maybe 20% ultimately, because a lot of the 20% comes from rote talent, something you've trained over the years, something you can do it, but the ability to make somebody feel good about themselves, is that something that that's really what a stylist is all about, isn't it?
I would say with the top tier of people, the 20% is very intense and very deep and very convoluted. That 20% is there.
Yeah.
But the other, I would say 80%, 75 to 80% is the entire experience. And that doesn't mean that the technical has to be there. But
Absolutely.
the effort then is, there's less effort on the technical because you're so good at it.
Right.
The effort is in dealing with a person who's going through a divorce, just lost a child, just lost a job, terrified that they might be moving,
Right.
taking care of an ill parent, stressed, waiting for a car to show up, waiting for a business call. That kind of charm, supporting them and making, or a person who feels very badly about the way they are at this point in their life.
Right.
That emotional support and counseling becomes so much of it. It's sometimes taxing. So you have to really be, there for them, and you really have to check all your stuff at the door, and when you walk in that room, it's showtime and it's support time.
It really is. That's an amazing. You said it all. I mean, literally, that's what we're trying. We're trying to impart that information on students. You said it. I think we all say it, and that is, it's just the cosmetology license is nothing more than just a license to learn
It's
for the
your
rest of your
license
life.
to learn.
To get better and to be better all the time. That's fantastic. Do you have any final? I could sit here and talk to you all night. I think we could talk about a lot of things.
No, this is great fun.
I'm really enjoying this. Do you have any parting words for our students and our staff? Any thoughts of success? Because I'm sure every one of them would like to be sitting right here, right now, maybe rubbing your shoulder a little bit for luck, and maybe some of that success would rub off on them. But any thoughts for them before we conclude today?
Well, first of all, I thank you very much for this. It's been wonderful. And I wish all the students the best of luck. I can say that they're very fortunate because they're beginning a really special adventure. And that's the adventure of graduating, taking that test, becoming licensed, and this wonderful adventure in cosmetology. I'd say, first of all, while you're in school and forever, there will always be people who enjoy doing nothing but gossip. And gossip pulls a school apart, it pulls a salon apart, it pulls careers apart. It has to stop. The other thing I would say is to read everything you can, watch every DVD you can. It's very interesting. I'm very pleased to work for Joico, but I still read.
It's great company.
Wonderful company, wonderful. But I will say I read every competitor's information and instructions on hair color. I know the shade range, I know their philosophy, I know what their no-lift shades, what their permanent shades are, or what anything specially they have. Because as a teacher, if I don't learn and continue to know what's out there, I'm not a good teacher. Nor are you a good colorist if you only learned to use one line of color and worked in a salon where one day that color disappeared and you had to use something else. The thing you don't do is go and say to a woman, I can't do your color, I don't know how.
Right.
Learning to explore, keeping the spirit and the integrity inside yourself, and really being able to say, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Let me figure this out. Let me think before I do. Most people will pick up scissors and comb before they think about it. Most people will pick up color before they've thought about the formula. It's the thinking that precedes the doing that makes it all work. And I think that if they can keep that in mind and know that they shall never stop learning and that it's not easy. The famous Vidal Sassoon said, some people talk about giving up. And I've had some days in my life in the recent past where I really knew my clients literally saved my life. Knowing to go into that salon, see their faces, and do for them, no matter what my day was, really made the difference. And for all of them, I say that I wish them courage and patience and perseverance and a great, great personality and also a deep sense of honesty and commitment, and they will have a wonderful career.
God, I'm in awe of what you just said. I'm telling you that is just amazing. And that's exactly the message I hope everybody takes from today. I really do. Beth, I say it one more time. I know I sound like a giddy schoolboy here when I say this, but you're one of the greats in this industry. You're one of the people that has really made it happen, especially and you and I talked about it before, especially for women, because you read more about the men artists than the men platform artists. And I want you to know that I'm just totally excited about the fact that you have broken all those gender barriers. You are by far the top colorist in the world, and I just think it's really cool, and I think it's a great honor for Empire to have you come and talk to us today.
And it's been my great honor too.
Thanks, Beth.
Thank you so much.
Take
It's
care.
a joy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.